Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. When was the last time, aside from yesterday, when you heard about the Nord Stream 1 and Nord Stream 2 attacks? You know what I'm talking about? If not, I'm talking about those two pipelines, gas pipelines between Russia and Germany that the United States said that they will not allow those to function. So they were blown up and we don't know who did it. We had investigations conducted by Sweden and Denmark, and they refused to allow the Russian investigators or Russian observers to participate in the process of investigating the whomever blown their pipeline. Nevertheless, the United States says, well, we might support the investigations, but we're going to stay out of it because somehow the Swedes and the Danish said, you know what, we're done, we're just going to investigate. Well, it's been about 3 months since the criminal acts occurred, and we didn't find anything about it. The investigations did not find the perpetrators. The only thing that we found out was yesterday, when I think it was Washington Post, I think it was. They came out unbelievably and they said, well, there's no evidence that the Russians did it, which was from the very beginning about 20% I gave them from doing it. But now we find out that the United States feels that it needs to get involved and say, hey, whoever thinks that we did it, we definitely oppose that view. Well, obviously Sweden and Denmark will not come out and say, hey, these guys did it. If that answer would be, or the perpetrator would be politically incorrect to, mention. So let's see what's going on here in this article, where it's very interesting development. It's a giveaway. This article comes from Sputnik. I say, oh my God, it's a Russian media outlet. Okay, I don't care. As long as these guys are providing me with direct quotations of the persons who did this or who said that, I don't really care. I can see when they say something and they use semantics, or they sugarcoat something, or when they exaggerate that. And let's see what's going on here. This article comes from Sputnik. It comes from today, the 23rd of December 2022. U.S., this is the title, U.S. to support European investigations of Nord Stream explosions. State Department says. What do you mean support? Are they going to send their investigators? Are they going to provide some evidence? What are they going to do? The United States will support European investigations into the explosions of the Nord Stream gas pipelines and considers any suggestions. I have a suggestion, let's take right instead of left. Any suggestions that Washington was somehow involved in the incidents, and I'm quoting, absolutely baseless, a State Department spokesperson said on Friday. Well, how can they be baseless if they are based on evidence? So let's say the Swedes are coming with their outcome of their investigation and say, well, based on the evidence we got from our investigation, we can tell you that the perpetrators are X, Y, or Z. And the Z will say, no, that's a baseless accusation. Or, how can it be baseless when based on the information and investigation we found it as a basis to conclude that it was you? So what basically these guys are saying, when you or if you dare to point a finger at us at any point, whomever you guys are, we will just refuse to accept that. That's baseless. Even if you bring the information, the evidence, that's going to be baseless. You can base it on anything. Even if you base your conclusions, your determinations on the evidence. And I'm quoting, We will continue close coordination with our European allies and partners and support European investigations and continue our efforts to increase energy independence. Any suggestion the United States was involved with this is absolutely, that's 100% perfect, baseless. The spokesperson told Sputnik in a statement. Now, what do you mean you will coordinate with the partners, with investigations? That means it's like Al Capone. Remember Al Capone? Having some little guys within the, I don't know, certain kind of system over there? Judicial or justice system? Like cops, like investigators? How do you expect Al Capone to get caught if he's got, let's say, a prosecutor, he's got some judge in his pocket? How do you expect that? And they're just, Al Capone's people. It's a lot of things occurred on the world stage as it used to in any kind of mafia enterprise. The same way. Blackmail, threats, corruption, and boom boom. Now the boom boom, we had the boom boom. Now if these guys are gonna find something, those guys will be boom boomed by the guys that we put inside of the whole process. Now remember, Sweden and Denmark refused to accept any Russian investigators or observers in the investigations they were conducting. But somehow they will accept American investigators who will cooperate. What was the word over there? Coordinate. So wait a second. So the problem is between A, Russia, B, Germany. Supposedly that happened on the economic or commercial territory of Sweden and Denmark, and somehow we have United States landing over the whole thing and say, hey, we're gonna get and we're gonna coordinate. Nobody fucking asked you. You're the fifth party here. It's like you would have North Koreans saying, hey, you know what, we're gonna cooperate with investigations. You will be like, did anybody fucking ask you? What could be your involvement? Why are you so concerned about it? You're from the other side of the Atlantic. You guys are from the other side of the world. And you coordinate? You should not even be asked, hey, what's your name? You should be fucking out of all it. The only people that should be, all the parties that would be involved in that would be the Russians, the Germans, who had the pipelines, correct? The guys who say that they are the ones whose pipeline is in the commercial economic area, okay, which is Sweden and Denmark, and we know how Denmark works. If you don't know, let me send you to their cooperation with the American NSA, who got access to the communication of the European Union. That's how they were able to tap certain politicians, including Merkel, Angela, not Meghan, Merkel's private phone through Denmark. So you think Denmark will be an objective investigator? I think not. So why would the United States be even asked or push itself in the issue that has nothing to do with United States? Why not? I mean, if United States has the right to get involved in and coordinate, why not Romania has the same right? Why not North Korea? Why not China? They have the same right to get involved in something that has nothing to do with the United States. But I got some information. None of the countries except the United States said that those pipelines will not go through. One way, and I'm citing, one way or another. And it's Biden on tape. And you have Victoria Nuland, the one that you also have on tape, about the 2014 overthrow of the legitimate, democratically elected government of Ukraine. Yanukovych, remember? She is on record speaking with the ambassador, U.S. ambassador in Kiev, about who would be unacceptable and who should be the one replacing Yanukovych. Check it out. I think it's still there. You have to just dig a little bit deeper. So, you know what I mean? It's kind of weird, the whole thing, don't you think? Preemptively, the Americans actually offering or providing a veiled or not so veiled threat to the ones who might dare to find the baseless evidence. You know what I mean? Earlier, Russian President Vladimir Putin called the explosions a terrorist act. That's what it was. That could be carried out, could only be carried out with the direct participation of state structures that are interested in coordination of gas transit via Ukraine. Continuation. On Wednesday, the Washington Post reported, citing a European official, that there is no evidence that Russia was responsible for the explosions at the pipeline system in September. Now, the statement was confirmed by 23 other diplomatic and intelligence officials in 9 countries interviewed by the newspaper. So Sputnik, this Russian propaganda media outlet, tells us what the perfect, correct, free mass media, in the United States, in this case Washington Post, found out. So Sputnik is just telling us what others found out. So it's not like they inform us of something that is a lie. What Washington Post said, as I said, no evidence that Russia was responsible for the explosions. And also Washington Post said that the statement was confirmed by 23 other diplomatic and intelligence officials in 9 countries interviewed by Washington Post, not by Sputnik. The blast occurred on September 26, October 26, November 26, December 26, 3 months ago, at 3 of the 4 strings of Nord Stream 1 and 2 underwater pipelines built to carry a combined 110 billion cubic meters of Russian gas to Europe annually. The incident halted gas deliveries to Germany ahead of the cold season, prompted blah 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 blah. Germany, Denmark and Sweden launched separate investigations, not Russia, was not allowed, into the suspected sabotage, with German media reporting trust issues between the 3 EU nations. The Russian Chief Prosecutor's Office said it had opened an inquiry on suspicion of international terrorism. Who do you think did it? I think that the first suspect would be Zimbabwe from across Atlantic. And you know who that is. I think that's the biggest candidate. Now, do I have the evidence? I don't. I'm pretty sure they have it. I'm 99.9, because I don't want to say 100%, because I can't say 100%. 99.9% certain that the Swedes have it, and the Americans have it, and the Swedes has it, and the Danish have it, and the Russians. The Russians said that, oh, it was actually the British Navy that did it. I don't know if that's true or not, but it seems like the Russians were not. So if the Russians were not, which are the bad dudes, who else could be as bad dudes? Okay, let's see. Could that be Iranians? No. Could that be the North Koreans? No. Could that be Lukashenko, the guy from Belarus? No. Could that be the Serbs? No. Could that be, I don't know, Maduro of Venezuela? No. Who else remained from the bad dudes? Could be China. No. Alright, so let's get the good dudes. Alright, because we look at the bad dudes and I don't think we find them. And the good dudes, the primary guy, suspect is, you know who. Alright? And I'm saying, I'm going by probabilities and possibilities. Possibilities are for all of them. They all could do it. I'm assuming, I don't know if Iran or I don't know if North Korea has the possibility, or let's say Serbia can do it. The probability, then we got these guys at the top, way ahead of everybody else. And I said that when it happened. If it was not the United States, then it would have been the ones that the Russians are accusing of, in the name of the United States. And that is the United Kingdom. Thank you very much for being with me again today. I'm just, I'm just guessing. I have no evidence to support that, but I can't be prevented from using logic and using the method of by elimination, eliminating the least likely candidates. I mean, after all, we investigate stuff, can we? Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.